Picture this: England, mid-16th century. The country is a mess, religiously divided, financially unstable, and surrounded by powerful enemies. Then, a young woman steps onto the throne. She's only 25, and nearly everyone thinks a woman can't possibly rule alone. They expect her to marry quickly, to hand over power to a husband. This is the world Elizabeth I inherited. But she had other plans. From the very beginning, Elizabeth was underestimated. Her own counselors, all men, pushed her to marry a foreign prince for an alliance, or an English nobleman to secure her position. But Elizabeth was smarter than they gave her credit for. She knew that marriage meant giving up her authority. A king would rule, not a queen. So, she played a masterful game of politics, dangling the prospect of marriage for decades, without ever committing. She flirted with kings and dukes, using her single status as a diplomatic weapon. By choosing power over love, she became the sole master of her kingdom. This decision earned her the famous title, the Virgin Queen. For years, she walked a tightrope. At home, she had to navigate the treacherous waters of religious conflict between Protestants and Catholics. Abroad, the mighty Spanish Empire, led by King Philip II, saw England as a heretical little island that needed to be crushed. Elizabeth didn't have a massive army. She couldn't win with brute force. So she relied on her wits, her spies, and a healthy dose of good fortune. She quietly built up England's navy, funded privateers like Sir Francis Drake to raid Spanish treasure ships, and slowly, cautiously, made England stronger. Her reign wasn't just about survival. It was about building a new kind of national identity. Then came the ultimate test. In 1588, Philip of Spain had enough. He sent the Spanish Armada, the most powerful fleet ever assembled, to invade England and dethrone Elizabeth. On paper, England stood no chance. The Spanish ships were bigger, their soldiers more experienced. But the English had smaller, faster ships and brilliant naval commanders. And they had a queen who went to her troops and gave one of the most famous speeches in history. She told them, "I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king." Against all odds, the English defeated the Armada, a combination of clever tactics and a massive storm. What the English called the Protestant wind sent the Spanish fleet limping home in defeat. This victory was a turning point. It wasn't just a military win, it was a massive psychological boost. Little England had stood up to a superpower and won. Elizabeth became a legend, a symbol of national pride and defiance. England's confidence soared, and it began its journey to becoming a dominant global sea power. Elizabeth ruled for over 44 years. She never married, and she left no children to inherit her throne. But what she did leave was an incredible legacy. Her reign is known as the Elizabethan era, England's golden age. It was a time of cultural explosion. William Shakespeare was writing his greatest plays. Explorers were charting new territories, and England was buzzing with art, music, and a newfound sense of purpose. When she died in 1603, she was mourned as the mother of her nation. She was the queen who inherited a divided and vulnerable country and left behind a strong, confident, and flourishing kingdom. She proved that a woman could not only rule alone, but could rule as one of the greatest monarchs in history. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most incredible figures. See you next time.